I know that when we're speaking in American English, we want to make sure that people understand us, which often causes us to speak in a way that is extremely clear and understandable. But the problem is that when you see native speakers talking, and if your goal is a native speaking sound, then what you're going to find is that people are not often speaking with that same level of clarity that you personally may be using. And so in today's video, I want to help narrow that gap for you so that way you can achieve a natural sound that in many ways may be more similar to native speakers around you. This is especially going to be true for situations where we are using reduced speech, speech that's linked together, speech that is not involving necessarily stressed words, and when we are speaking at a more rapid pace, a more conversational pace. Good morning, guys. Good evening. Good afternoon. Welcome to your daily American pronunciation stream and show. Wake up, American. We're here Monday through Friday, typically around 8 a.m. New York time, to make sure that you can get in your 5 to 10 minutes of pronunciation practice. And to guide you in this journey, there is me. Hello, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath, which is one of the 4 keys to a natural sound, including placement, pitch, breath, trying to weaken your consonant sounds and strengthen your vowel sounds. And today we're going to be practicing saying some consonant sounds in a way that may feel a little bit weird and awkward to you. And this is certainly not something that you have to do. Okay, so again, to start, you do not have to do anything that I'm about to show you in this video. It is not necessary to do in order to achieve a natural sound. It is, though, something that may help you speed some sections up. It may help you to reduce your consonant sounds and things like that. So do what works best for you. That's my biggest suggestion. Join us today. We got Noman in the house. We got Milad's here. We also have Emmanuel. And we also have you. I know there's a lot of other people watching. I can see you. So if you want to say hey, feel free to say hey. So I have a couple little sentences that we're going to be working on. Today we're going to be taking a look at the letter P and the letter B and also the letter W, although this can apply to some other examples as well. Hello also to Lovey the Red is here as well, and YouTube user is back as well too. Okay, so I have some sentences that I want to take a look at with you as we practice trying to do an exercise where, as we pronounce these, we're going to try to minimize contact with our lips, which can be a fun exercise. Yeah, and you can practice doing this honestly with any sort of sentence. Like I can try to say everything right now with just like smiling and watch my lips aren't even touching for anything I'm saying right now. Look at that, just the smile, smile, smile. Um, so it can be helpful because by doing this exercise, you're causing all your consonant sounds to kind of blend together, and you're causing your vowel sounds to be the primary focus, which can be a little bit uncomfortable for those of us more used to heavy consonant sounds. So let's try it with this first phrase. I know what I know what I know what I. So notice I'm not saying I know, but I. You might be used to pronouncing that but there with a heavy B sound. I know, but I. You're like but, right? Just like popping open, but. And what I'm telling you to do is like, hey, maybe we don't need to do that, right? What's up to Muhammad? Ciao. Good to see you. Thanks for being with us. There was a lot happening just between that picture with the camels and the flag and the Italian and the face. There's a lot. There's a lot happening right there. Um, anyway, so again, so instead of saying I know, but I, just keeping everything open. I know what I know what I. Now, one of the things you have to be careful of with the letter, with any word that has a B sound, and you're doing these sort of movements where you're not pressing the lips together. You're going to see one way I'm compensating for that is I'm using my top tooth against my lip instead. Okay, so but I. It has to be extremely light. It has to be extremely light contact because otherwise, what's going to happen, especially for my Spanish-speaking friends out there, you're going to turn it into a V sound. You're going to say but I, because you're pressing too firm and holding too long. It has to be extremely light. I know what I know what I know what I. and things like that. And now I'm able to keep my mouth more open instead of pressing my lips together. I know, but I know that I know, but I know that I. You can probably hear those little differences, right? Mohammed saying ADHD. YouTube user asking the question, how do you say spoon and make sure the P sound is not getting in the way? Spoon. If you, this is true for any word you're trying to say, if you want to make sure it sounds smooth, what's my recommendation as always is, hey, find your vowel sounds first. So what's our vowel sound in spoon? It's the oo sound, right? It's like, and then add consonants back in. It's like oo, oon, spoon, 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 spoon. Now, if you're trying to do this with minimizing that contact on that P, again, the goal of the day is to practice. The goal of the day is to make mistakes, try something new that you may have never done before, right? That's our goal. So let's try saying this smiling. Spoon, 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 spoon. Notice I'm not saying spoon, spoon, spoon. I'm saying spoon, spoon, spoon. And one of the things you're going to notice is that by doing that, my vowel sound gets a lot more opportunity to come out, right? And the consonant sound gets a lot weaker. Again, spoon, spoon, spoon. That's with my lips touching versus spoon, spoon, spoon. That's with my lips not touching. That's again one of the tricks you see again is I'm using my tooth, my top tooth as my lip, as my top lip in a way, okay, for contact instead. And that's helping to keep the airflow moving a little bit. Okay, and again, this is extremely helpful in situations, again, like a reduced speech, where the word that you're saying is not necessarily stressed, and you're saying it at a faster pace. Let's see. Lavia has a question related to this. Is it possible to not touch your lips with the sound TH? Yeah. I'll just smile for you, right? The truth she had to say, you ain't a threat. The truth she had to say, you ain't a threat. The truth she had to say, you ain't a threat. Does that work? That was with my tongue against my back of my top front tooth. Okay. So I would say it is possible to not touch your lips to make those TH sounds. Let's take a look at another B sound. So this time we have better, right? I did better. I did better. I did better this time. I did better this time. I did better this time. Another thing that we have to understand with this is that, like I said before, I think a lot of pronunciation issues are trust issues. We have to trust our listener is going to understand us. So we have to put a lot of emphasis on our vowel sounds because our listener is listening for vowels. That's the sound that they're really paying a lot of attention to. So if we get the vowel right, and if we get the consonant close enough, we don't need perfect consonants. We just need them to be close enough to what our listener is looking for. Okay. So as long as we're able to do that, we'll be in good shape. Okay. So like, I did better this time. I did better this time. Honestly, even if you took off the B, if you just didn't even pronounce the B, oh, I did better this time. I did better this time. Your listener would probably hear, I did better this time. Just because it's so similar to what their brain is expecting. Also because there's not a lot of other words that sound similar to better. Okay, there's not a lot of words that do. And also there's collocations. We don't think word by word. We think in chunks. And that little phrase, I did better, that's a collocation. You're like, I did better at it. I did better. I did better at it. I did better at it. Your listener's going to hear better, most likely. So we have some flexibility here. Livy mentions, great. I was wondering why sometimes I had an H sound where there's none. Is that a French thing speakers do? I occasionally see it with French. That's honestly a bigger thing you see with Italian speakers. Italian speakers have a tendency to add a lot of H sounds to things. Like I ate becomes I hate. Like I ate it becomes I hate it. And obviously those are two different things. So you have to be careful there. Nina's in the house as well. How do we prevent placement being shifted to lips because we're focused on keeping them motionless almost? Well, it's interesting you say that because the reason this works to begin with is because our placement is low because we have lots of breath. Honestly. So like it's all about focus on the breath and moving the vowel sound. I mean, yeah, we're not making contact with the lips because we're so focused on our placement and our diaphragm. That's the reason we're able to do this. Like, I know that it's the vowel sounds. I know that I. You probably want to see my lips on that. But again, it's focusing on the breath of the place. So it's like, those are your vowel sounds. Now let's just add the consonants. I know what 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 things like that versus I know but so we're constantly focused on our lower placement and our diaphragm. That's going to help this be possible. Let's look at our third situation here. So we have what, and you maybe are pronouncing your W sounds with very closed, rounded lips. You might be doing like a wah, wah, wah when you make your W sounds. Okay, so my challenge for you is like, hey, can we make a W sound stretching? Wah, wah, wah. So it's not wah, wah, wah. It's wah, wah, wah. And notice that, like, let's just make a schwa sound. And now let's add a W sound. If it's like a wah. Notice when I say wah, I'm adding a very heavy consonant sound. That's really modifying my vowel. Wah. Whereas if I keep my lips straighter with the W, wah, wah. Now my consonant sound has less impact on my vowel. Okay, when I do wah, that's a very heavy W sound. If I do well, now I have the consonant still, but it's much, much weaker. It's much softer. And in general, American English tends to like that, the weak consonant sounds. Livy mentions, yeah, you don't need to touch your lips together to make a vowel sound, unlikely with consonants. So, and remember, American English wants to treat consonant sounds almost like vowel sounds. That's why we have dark L's and silent T's and things like that. So, all that said with the W sound, so instead of saying what was, where you can really see my lips moving there, what was, let's try to just smile. What was, what was, what was, what was, what was, what was, what was the problem? What was the problem? So instead of saying what was the problem, where I'm doing a lot of lip contact, what was the problem? What was the problem? What was the problem? Hey, what was the problem? What was the problem? What was the problem? What was the problem? Okay. And again, the reason this works is because we can trust, or we have to put some trust in our listener that they're going to be able to understand us. Able to understand us. Look at me how I say able. Able to, able to, able to, able. I'm not saying able to. I'm saying able to, able to, able to understand us. Instead of saying able to understand us. Able to understand us. Able to understand us. Able to understand us. Okay. That first way where I'm saying able to, that's some heavy lip contact, right? And that second way, able to, that's much weaker contact, right? And we have one last one we're going to take a look at in a moment. But guys, I just want to give a quick reminder that we have a program called Mission English where twice a day, every day, we have 30-minute lessons. We actually had 2 days off, last 2 days I was traveling, but we're back today, which is exciting. So we'll be back at 9:30 a.m. and also 1:30 p.m. We're also meeting at 7:30 p.m. on a couple of days. And we're also adding some one-on-one sessions, which are going to be exciting. So we're adding even more times to this. So basically, you can end up with somewhere between 40 and 50 classes a month. And all you have to pay is one price for the month. And if that sounds interesting to you, whoa, sorry. With our new one-on-one sessions that we're adding to this, basically, you play once for the month, and you can come to as many classes as you like, including those one-on-one sessions and things like that. Yeah, but the price is about to go up. So if this sounds like something you're interested in and you want to pay the lower price before we start adding our one-on-one sessions, then you need to join our program very, very soon because it starts next week. And you can go to fluentamerican.com. Check out our group class tab. That's just a note on that. If that sounds like something you want to practice with me, including these sounds. Let's take a look at our final phrase here. Okay, so we have put it there, put it there, put it there, put it, put it, put it. So I'm not saying put it, put it, put it. I'm saying put it, put it, put it, put it there, put it there. Like, hey, that box in your hands, everyone, put it there. Put it there. That box in your hands. Hey, guy, put it there. 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 Just look at me. I'm not pressing my lips together at all. Versus put it there. 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 Which one sounds smoother to you? In all honesty, which one sounds smoother? Most likely it's going to be the one with The lips not touching. Appreciate Love V. Yes.
Like what you're hearing?
Telling everyone.
Let us know by liking and subscribing.
Very helpful. Hamid has an unrelated question. We actually just wrapped up that. I have a question on a related topic. Is this your normal speaking speed, or are you reducing it just to teach us? Okay. This is not. It's similar, but it's not exactly the speed I use when I'm talking to like my friends and stuff. It's not exactly the same. And this is true for any teacher. And it's not because I'm teaching a second language or anything like that. It's just because teachers, when you're teaching, you don't teach at the same pace. Same thing like when someone is presenting at a meeting or a conference or something like that. That is not their normal speaking pace. You change things when you're, talking to people in that capacity. Okay. So just a note on that. This is also probably true for your own teachers when you were in school. Nina says, when saying the R vowel in there, that extra schwa before the R sound is normal, right? The way I view it is kind of similar. I know, like, when we look at the transcription, it's written with that schwa. I personally think it's a little bit more similar to like an A sound. It's like the progression I would use with there is like an A sound, then an R sound after that, and then the full word. It's like A, air, there, A, air, there, A, air, there, A, air, there. That's the progression I would pick. The R sound actually is not going to be super strong. You don't want to do there, just there, 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 air, there, air, there. So that's kind of the general progression I personally would recommend for that. Hopefully that's helpful, Nina. All right, guys. But yeah, so as you say, those sentences and things like that, do those exercises with me. See if you can make your consonant sounds really weak. Beyond that, tomorrow we'll be back with another topic. If there's an aspect of pronunciation that you would like me to review, you can leave it in the chat or in the comments. I'll see it, and maybe I'll select it for a topic this week for a video. I hope you guys all have a good day and a good night and a good afternoon. Once more, you've been watching Wake Up American. And I appreciate it because, look, there's a million pronunciation resources out there. So the fact that you turn to us for a little bit of guidance is greatly, greatly appreciated. Once more, my name is Jeff. It runs with breaths on the 4 keys to natural sound: placement, pitch, breath. Trying to weaken your consonant sounds, strengthen your vowels, much like we did today. Levita red out. That's perfect. We'll see you, Hamid. Thank you for your question and your time. Lifter code, great to see you. How are we supposed to pronounce plosive sounds like P? Well, actually, I would take a look at the beginning of the stream because one of the very first things that we did was we looked at a couple of, we did plosives with B sounds. We did one with P. There's a lot of P sounds before this, but the key thing is don't let that plosive sound impact your vowel sound dramatically. Like, for instance, if you say a word like butter, you don't want to say like utter, but then when you add the B, it becomes butter. That's not what we're going for. You need to maintain the schwa. So we need to do butter. So it's not about the plosive consonant or any consonant. It's about the vowel sound. Keep the vowel sound as pure to the vowel sound as you can. It's like, again, like butter, or like you could do a different vowel like e b. Because if you find that you're doing e b, things like that. Or if you're saying like pa, you don't want to say pa, no, pa. Try to keep your vowel sound the same when it's by itself or when you put the plosive around it. Okay, that would be my big suggestion for you. All right, guys, heading out. I will see you all later. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. Take care.